Hey everybody, Alex here, out of the Park 23 Pittsburgh Pirates franchise, episode number 19, and we are ready for opening day here in 2028 after a pretty quiet off season. Not much to review. We'll look at the roster, the one trade we have made, and get ready for opening day. I'll quickly go through the opening day roster for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Joey Bart, acquired in a trade last year from San Francisco, will be our starting catcher. Barely played for us last season, but Cam Gallagher has moved on, and we have Bart in the lineup. Jacob Stallings returning to Pittsburgh as the backup at 38 years old. Delfin Ramirez, the Rookie of the Year in 2027, as you guys can see here. He'll be the opening day first baseman, 24 home runs in 103 games last season. James Wood, our backup at first, also backup corner outfielder. He's going to strike out a lot, but the home runs hopefully will justify that. Nick Gonzalez, one of our captains at second base, really poor in the field, trying to justify the bat. Did so with a 119 WRC plus last season. That bat's not incredible, but it's good enough, although I think this may be his last year with the Pirates. Ke'Bryan Hayes ended up being healthy for opening day, got a couple of games in spring training, although one downside, he is now fragile, also 31 years old, and so that's unfortunate for him, but hopefully picks up what he was doing last year, having a career season before he tore his labrum in his shoulder and missed 7 to 8 months. Edwin Arroyo returns at shortstop, great glove, fantastic in the field. Look at it last year, 7.2 ZR. That was a 9.9 in 2026. Had a career year at the plate with 18 home runs, 112 WRC plus, 4.5 WAR year. Doubt he'll replicate that. BABIP was up in a pretty considerable way, 343 in 2027, but the defense should always be steady. Stephen Kwan may split time with James Wood in left, but he's a guy that gets on base at a pretty high clip, 351 in 2026 and 331 in 2027. Nick Dial will make his debut for the Pittsburgh Pirates, first-round pick just back in 2026 to replace Brian Reynolds. His spring was not great, got better towards the end, hit 204 officially, but we'll see how he does. Should be a high-contact, good average player is going to be the expectation for him. RJ Schreck is out in right, listed as a DH, and so we'll change that to right field. And he showed good power with 17 home runs last year. And then Gavin Sheets remains as the DH, who hit 16 home runs and got hot towards the back half of the season. I'll also note the backups briefly as well. Corbett Vivas, who I like the bat. He had a really poor 2027. We'll see how he does. I think he can have a good year. Defensively, he's pretty limited, pretty below average as an infielder, but pinch hit situations, we'll just have to kind of see what happens if an injury strikes somewhere to, let's say, Hayes. There's an option there. Yolbert Sanchez, claimed him back on waivers. He's been on and off the roster. Really good defensive replacement and just a good glove overall, but actually the bat was decent last year, 268. Never going to be tremendous with the power, but gets on base at a decent, it's a 300 clip, which is not very good, but he's versatile and he's got good contact and doesn't strike out a whole lot, and he'll be a defensive sub in late innings for Nick Gonzalez. And so those are the backups on the batting side of things. And to look at the pitching staff, we'll see Christopher Cruz today in his fantastic start to his young career. Dylan Leska will make the Major League roster on opening day for the first time in his career. Came up about halfway through last season and was fantastic. 3.3 ERA, 129 ERA plus in 17 starts. Luis Avita was also very good, 3.47 ERA, 123 ERA plus, and so you have a really strong top of the rotation. Davis Martin has a dead arm right now, but he'll be good for his turn to start the season. Acquired over from the Athletics at the deadline last year. He was fantastic in 8 starts. We'll hopefully see that continue. Alec Marsh, our number 5, not happy in that role, and he's a borderline player for us right now. 4.46 ERA, basically league average last year. You have one guy in the minors that will be up probably sooner than later, maybe after Super 2, let me spell his name correctly here, and we'll pull him up here. Dylan Questad, really, looks like a strong starting pitcher, former 5th round pick. Changeup, I would like it to develop a bit more. He was in the bullpen for us in the spring. Just hasn't had a ton of time in the minors. 9 starts at AAA, quality starts, but I want to start him in the minor level and kind of just see things from there. But one of those guys that's certainly been up and down, but is now up, and so that's a really positive development. And in the bullpen, I have to change and define roles here briefly, but we'll be playing opening day Andrew Schultz. If that control is not an issue, he'll be fantastic, as he's been. Nick Mears is one of our best relievers and was excellent last year with a 150 ERA+. Alberto Guerrero, also very good for us last season, and just a well-rounded reliever. Jason Foley may be seeing some decline in him, 32 years old, but we'll see how it goes. It's still generally been good, although the playoffs last year I think were pretty bumpy. Denny Bentley, a lefty specialist, but has gotten better against righties and has been quality for us as a former Rule 5 draft pick of the Astros. Wanderson Charles, again, control, kind of like Schultz, but still good overall. Bullpen was certainly a strength last year. Hopefully it'll be as strong this year. I'm a little concerned you may see a bit of a tick down in the production there. Beckway has not been great in the majors, barely pitched for us last year at the big league level, but he's made the roster this year with a jump up in his play as well. And then finally, Asa Lacy, our long reliever, who had a pretty crooked looking ERA last year, but had some really ugly, the 2 starts he had last year were really poor. That skewed the numbers a little bit. As a reliever, he was closer to at or slightly above league average. Now, one name you may have been wondering about is Trey McGow, who's been one of the best relievers, most consistent relievers we've had for years now. He is now a Washington National, and so what happened with him was I was really trying to debate the last couple of spots on the roster. He had an option year left, and so I tried to send him down to AAA. He refused to motion. I didn't think he could, but I thought he had to be a 10-5 guy to do that. I guess he was still able to do so. So I ran some scouting reports on him. He's been dropping, especially the movement went from 55 to 45. The stuff dropped as well. The numbers still look good, but they've kind of gotten a bit worse in the ERA department and some of the other numbers as well, the peripherals. And so I'm going to chance it as a free agent potentially after this year. I probably wasn't going to re-sign him. Made the difficult decision, potentially regrettable decision to deal him. And what we got back in return was a catcher in Rene Lastras. And you guys know I love collecting catchers, captain, and a guy that potentially could come up as early as this year if we have some injuries there. He's only been in a high A ball at 24, which I don't love the decision there. He was very good last year, but we'll try him in Double A. Quick look at preseason predictions. The Cubs are projected to win the Central, with Pittsburgh right behind with 89 wins. They are projecting us to go 89-73 this year, and I assume that would mean, would that mean a wild card spot? I think so, based on everything of the third wild card team. Regardless, we'll just see how the years go. No projected top hitters or pitchers for the Pirates, which is strange for the pitchers to not see Cruz on there, but that's just a quirk of how this all goes. And so we'll see how the season goes. We'll start things off, though, on opening day against the New York Mets. And a look at opening day lineups for each side. For Pittsburgh, it's Kwan, Shrek, Hayes, Ramirez, Gonzalez, Sheets, Arroyo Jr., Dial, Bart, with Christopher Cruz on the mound. And you see it there for the Mets, who were the best team in baseball last year. Had, I think, 104 wins to lead the entire major league. They got Trey Turner, who's still excellent. They got Francisco Lindor, who's still really good, especially in the field. You see the names here, Rhys Hoskins as their DH, so a ton of power and a great pitcher on the mound. The man who won the Cy Young Award for the NL last year, Pablo Lopez, who had a 2.91 ERA, led the MLB, or the NL at least, in innings and in walks per 9, and had just a really strong season, beating out Christopher Cruz. And so it'll be the guy that won the Cy Young 2 years ago in Cruz versus the guy that won the Cy Young last year in Lopez. Let's take you out to Citi Field for opening day in 2028. And welcome back to Pirates Baseball to start this 2028 season, as Pittsburgh tries to get back in the postseason after making it last year for the first time since, I believe, 2015, whatever the crazy streak there was. And so we'll lead things off. Steven Kwan against Pablo Lopez in Citi Field. Pittsburgh seems to almost always be on the road to start their seasons, as Kwan will ground that to short. That one gets away, and so it'll be an error on the first at-bat of the season, benefiting the Pittsburgh Pirates on Lindor. Normally is very strong at short, and so that is now a fielding percentage of 0. Don't see that too often, but obviously the first at-bat of the year. And so that's how things will get started. Hopefully a sign of things to come as RJ Schreck will rip that into right fielder going over. Calls off the center fielder. Quan will tag, and he will get into third to put a runner in scoring position for Pittsburgh as we're top 1. 1 out. Runner on third. Pittsburgh last year did not have Ke'Bryan Hayes, losing in 5 in the NLDS to the LA Dodgers. We're up 2-1 in the series, and then blew a lead, and it all kind of went south there. Dodgers ended up advancing, beating us in Game 5, and so Hayes was injured in late August, I think it was, or early August, and did not get to finish that one out. 2-2 count, and he'll strike out looking in his first at-bat. He again played in a handful of games in the spring, and then decided to just keep him on the roster because the minor league season does not start for another 2 weeks or so. So anyway, 2 outs, runner on third for Rookie of the Year last year, Delfin Ramirez, 24 home runs, 0-2 count, hits this one to center, and that will be caught as Brandon Nimmo came in, made the catch, and so the error ultimately does not cost Lindor, does not cost the Mets. Will go bottom 1 as Urbina will face Christopher Cruz on a full count, and Cruz will lose him. So it's an error to start the year for the Mets and a walk to start the year for the Pirates. Brandon Nimmo coming in, and that one gets away from the catcher Bart. A low pitch there from Cruz, and so Urbina will stand at second. Full count again. That one outside as Nimmo swung at ball 4, but the runner will advance. So similar situation. Runner on third, 1 out as the Pirates had. Pittsburgh could not capitalize. Now Trey Turner will try to bring Urbina in, and there is Cruz with his first strikeout of the season. Now has to deal with Logan Britt and all that power in that bat. 47 home runs last year for the Mets. 1-2 count, and Hill swings through that one on the curveball, and both teams getting out of some early trouble as we go top 2, still scoreless. Nick Gonzalez, one of the many captains on this team, but I think the most captainy of all the captains on the Pirates roster, stepping in, grounds that one to third. This time the Mets field it cleanly, and there's one away. Gavin Sheets, the DH, could be the last year for him. Some financial squeezes potentially coming for the Pittsburgh Pirates, but those things still a ways away to decide. We want to be competitive and compete this year. 2 down. Arroyo dribbles this one to the pitcher, and Lopez is unable to throw it to first in time. Arroyo with the infield single, and that'll bring up the first at bat for Nick Dial. Drafted in the first round, that was 11th overall out of the University of Arkansas. So the Razorback product trying to get his first hit with 2 outs, 0-2 count, and he's finding out what the big leagues are all about. Tough spot facing Lopez. He strikes out swinging. Will go bottom 2. Cruz facing Pete Alonso still has it in his older age, as this one grounded to third. Ramirez, 3 unassisted, steps on the bag for the first out, bringing up Lindor, who still had the error, but at 34.5 years old, still, been solid. Not amazing, but certainly solid for this Mets team that, again, won 104 games last year. Shift on, but this one in the outfield, shallow right. Schreck coming in and makes the catch for out number 2. And now facing the 7-hitter, Rhys Hoskins. 1-2 count, the pitch. And this one hit to center. Nick Dial, his first chance to make a play in the field, and he will do so. So it's 3 up, 3 down for the Mets. Will go top 3, still 0-0. Lopez now facing the 9-hitter Joey Bart. 2-1 count. Bart, our starting catcher this year, who spent the year in AAA and with the Giants last year. Got 2 starts with the Pirates and was on with the team in the playoffs. Did not appear in a playoff game, I don't believe. Was the backup to Gallagher. But Bart grounds out there to reset the order for Quan, who reached on an error his first at bat. 3-1 count. Quan swinging. That one will fall in at the feet of the center fielder. And so it's a 1-out single for Quan, who can steal, but the Mets probably have a good chance to throw him out, and so we'll let Shrek swing here on the full count, and he will hit this one sharply to second. They can't turn two. Bit surprising there, but they will get the force at second, so Quan erased, 2 out, 1 on for Hayes. Hayes struck out his first at bat, 0-1 count, and this one ripped to center. This one will fall at the feet of the center fielder. We're going to hold the runner. Potentially could have come in, but with 2 outs, the old adage, don't make the first or third out at third base, and so Ramirez will try to bring a couple guys in. He is 0 for 1 today. 2-2 count, and he strikes out swinging on the fastball at 93. Pirates 3 hits, no runs, as the Mets will come up here in the bottom of the third at 8:11 p.m. on this March 30th, opening day. Full count from Cruz, and that one gets Mauricio looking on the fastball, as Rivero will come in, the Mets catcher. 3-0 count, and swinging 3-0, and this one bobbled by Hayes, and maybe that's a bit of that rust there of somebody who has not been playing a lot of baseball since that injury, and so it was odd to see Rivero swing 3-0 as the 9-hitter, but he gets on, rewarded, I guess, in a sense for his aggressiveness. Both teams having an error in this game in the infield, and so now Urbino will come in with 1 on, 1 out, 1-2 count, and Cruz strikes him out on the off-speed. Went changeup there, 2 away for Brandon Nimmo. And this one hit to short. Arroyo has it, does it himself, steps on the second base bag, and will go top 4. Still looking for the first run of the game for either side. Gonzalez steps back in to face Lopez, hitting at 45 pitches through 3 innings. And Gonzalez rips this one to the gap, and a great diving catch by Urbina to rob Gonzalez of probable extra bases. And so that's a loud out number 1 as Gavin Sheets comes in, flew out his first at bat, and he'll strike out looking on the cutter outside corner, and the ump rings him up. Arroyo 1 for 1 today on the infield single. And this one hit well to center. Going back is Nimmo, and he makes the catch. And so again, no runs for either side. Trey Turner will try to change that, leading off bottom 4. And Cruz gives up the single into the gap. This will be extra bases actually for Turner. And the Mets get their first hit of the day, as that's a leadoff double for Trey Turner. Now Cruz at 53 pitches, 0-1 to Britt, and Britt hits this one to left center, and Quan will call off Dial. Turner will hold, and there's 1 away for Pete Alonso. How old is Pete Alonso at this point? Just 33, so younger than I thought he was. As Cruz delivers to Bart, this one dribbled to short. Runner's going to advance, and the throw to Ramirez at first is in time. Interesting to see Turner move there on that one, hit to short, but now you got a runner on third with 2 out for Lindor, who's 0 for 1 with an error today, but wants to get the first run of the game. 3-1 count. Lindor swinging on this one into left. Quan gives chase and makes the catch for out number 3. So Mets get their first hit, but still looking for their first run. We'll go top 5, 0-0. Lopez facing 8-9 one-hitters here with Nick Dial in his second career Major League at-bat. Struck out the first time, full count here, but he'll strike out again, just a bit more of an adventure on the fastball at 97. Lopez rearing back for that one. Joey Bart stepping in, 1-2 count. He falls behind, and he'll dribble that one to third, throw on to first in time, and quickly there's 2 away. Bring up Quan, who is 1 for 2. Reaching on an error and had a single today. And Quan will look at strike 3. Doesn't happen often, but you're facing the Cy Young winner in Lopez, and we'll go bottom 5. So Cruz and Lopez dueling to start. Hoskins trying to put a dent into things. Full count. Cruz a couple of those today, and check swing. And the ref, I've got football on the mind. The umpire says he held up. There'll be a walk issued by Cruz to Hoskins to bring in Mauricio. That one on a bunt play, it looks like, to throw on to first. And Ramirez throws it to Gonzalez. Couldn't tell that was a bunt or just a check swing. Bit of an awkward moment there, but Hoskins moves to second with 1 away. Now Cruz will face Rivero. 3-1, and Rivero aggressive today. Hayes fields it, throws on to Ramirez. So Rivero swung at 3-0 his last at bat, got on due to the Hayes error. This time he swings 3-1 and Hayes throws him out. So you wonder about the 9-hitter being that aggressive in that moment. Kind of a unusual decision there. And so now Urbina will have to bring in Hoskins with 2 out. Runner on second, 2-0 count. This one hit well too short. Arroyo has it, throws on the first a bit low. Ramirez fields it, and that retires the Mets here. Bottom 5, still scoreless. We're going top 6, and these typically seem to be more low-scoring affairs when you play them out. But of course, when you start a season with your best pitchers, they generally are a bit more of the low-scoring variety. RJ Schreck will try to break things open here. Top 6, Pirates 3 hits, Mets just 1. That'll be grounded to first, and Alonso has it, getting ahead of Schreck at the base. Hayes 1 for 2 today. And then Hayes hits this one to short. Lindor coming in. High throw, but Alonso makes the grab. Route number 2. Ramirez 0 for 2. The pitch from Lopez. This one hit well to right fielder coming in, and the sharp hit is caught by Britt, and we'll go bottom 6. Now Cruz at 76 pitches opening day. Need to start thinking about potentially a replacement here, despite it being pretty early. Jason Foley moving around. Cruz facing Nimmo. And he'll strike him out swinging on the fastball at 93. 5 Ks for Cruz. Now facing Turner. 0-1 count. The pitch. Turner hits this one to center. Dial going over, so is Kwan. And it's Kwan calling off Dial to make the catch. Route number 2. Now Logan Britt stepping in. 2-0 count. Hitters count. And this one roped to left. Kwan going back, and that one falls at his feet for a 2-out single for Logan Britt. 84 pitches for Cruz. Now facing Alonso with 2 out. 1-1 count. This one hit up the middle. Dial can't make the play. The throw to third, though, appears to be in time. It's a rundown situation. A throw to second. Have they caught Britt? And they have. And a great job there by Dial to quickly get that ball into third. And then the rundown began. And eventually it was, I think, Hayes that got Britt sliding into third. So cool animation there. Bottom line is that we go top 7, I should say, still scoreless. 87 pitches for Christopher Cruz. That's going to likely be it for him as we look at other bullpen options. Jason Foley, I think we'll get warmed up here, and he appears to be ready. But right now, Pirates at bat. Somebody looking for a run. Lopez staying in for the Mets. 71 pitches. It's Gonzalez, 0-1 count. And Gonzalez lost this one to center, and that bloops in front of Nimmo. So Gonzalez, you heard the old saying, bloop and a blast. You got a bloop. Now Gavin Sheets looking to provide the blast. 1-2 count. No blast there, unless you're the Mets and Pablo Lopez, who blast that one by Sheets for the strikeout. Tough day for Sheets. Arroyo coming in. Full count payoff pitch, and Arroyo back up the middle. Gonzalez will go to second. He won't test third. And the Pirates have runners first and second. 1 out. Top 7. Nick Dial, who began that run down the situation to end the bottom of the 6th, trying to get his first MLB hit and potentially first MLB RBI. And so Dial, the lefty, former first-round pick, hit 200 in the spring with the Buccos, facing Lopez in a big spot here. First pitch swinging, and Dial hits this one into the outfield pretty shallow. It hangs. Nimmo makes the catch, and certainly will not test that one, as Gonzalez lacks great speed, and so that'll be up to Joey Bart to bring the runner home on a 1-1 count. And Bart ropes this one past Lindor at short. Gonzalez coming around third. He'll race home. The throw is not in time, and it's an RBI single for the veteran catcher Joey Bart to provide the first run of the game for either side. 1-0 Pirates over the Mets. And so that's a big moment there for Bart, and Stephen Kwan will try to add to it as Lopez tiring at 89 pitches. And Kwan 1-1. This one hit to center. In the air, Canicorn for Nimmo, and that'll end the top half of the 7th. We'll stretch, go bottom 7, as the Pirates get a run. They lead 1-0. And you can close the book on Christopher Cruz, who went 6 solid shutout innings, as Jason Foley will come in to relieve him. And he'll face Francisco Lindor. Shift is on. Lindor into the air, Dial coming in, and makes the catch in shallow center for out number 1. Now Rhys Hoskins, 0-2 count, and this one hit too short. Arroyo has it. The throw began a bit low. Ramirez flexible at first and makes the catch for out number 2. Ronnie Mauricio coming in. He's 0 for 1. I believe some walks or errors today. 2-0 count. The pitch from Foley. And this one is roped into right, and this one is not coming back, as Ronnie Mauricio has tied the game up at 1. And Jason Foley has not been great in the postseason last year, and you wonder, is it starting to fall apart for him? I know that's so early to consider, so early into the season, but you just have to wonder about that. And so we have a brand new ball game. Mets get it right back, as Rivero, the aggressive catcher, will come in to face Foley. 2 outs, bases empty. And again, first pitch swinging appears to be aggressive here. This one is going to be caught. Nice speed by Dial to read that one. But the Mets tie it up on the Ronnie Mauricio home run to right as we go top 8. RJ Schreck, Ke'Bryan Hayes, and Delphin Ramirez, the 2-3-4 hitters up to bat here, top 8, 1-1 game here on opening day in 2028. As this one hit well going back is Nimmo towards the track, and he'll make the catch right at the end of the grass. And should note that Pablo Lopez still in the game, 7 1/3 innings, allowed just 1 run, struck out 7, looking for 8 here against Ke'Bryan Hayes. 2-0 count, Hayes is in front, and this one skied in the air towards right. Nimmo again giving chase going back, similar position as the flyout by Schreck, the previous batter, and there are 2 loud outs, but outs nonetheless to start the 8th. Delphin Ramirez coming in, looking for a home run of his own. Big power in that bat, 2-2 count. And this one dribbled too short. Lindor has it, throws to Alonso, and will go bottom 8, still tied at 1. Alberto Guerrero will come in to relieve Jason Foley, who allowed the home run. Guerrero, 25 appearances last year for the Pirates, 5 saves, 3.45 ERA, 1.24 ERA plus to face Urbina, the leadoff hitter, 0 for 2 today with a walk, 2-2 count. Here is the pitch from Guerrero to Bart. This one is a strikeout as Urbina swings through the fastball, and it looks like 92. As Nimmo coming in, 1-1 count. This one hit well to left. Kwan going in and makes the catch. That one on a line. Kwan, the veteran, read it well. There's 2 down. Now facing Trey Turner, 1 for 3 today. 1-2 count. And this one popped up as Ramirez will call everyone off and make the catch just to the right of the first base bag. We'll go top 9 as finally closed the book on Pablo Lopez. So both starting pitchers, excellent showings today. Christopher Cruz, 6 shutout innings, and for Pablo Lopez, 8 innings of 1-run ball. And that's why those guys have taken home the hardware the last couple of Cy Young ceremonies. So, new pitcher in is Reggie Lawson. Very good in his own right, 3.08 ERA last year in relatively limited action, but certainly did a good job with a high K/9 ratio of 14 plus to face Gonzalez, as our bullpen will stir some more. As Nick Mears moving around, but Gonzalez leading things off, balls behind 0-2. And Gonzalez strikes out swinging. Off speed that time from Lawson. As Sheets comes in, he's 0 for 3 today. Pirates DH. Former Chicago White Sox dribbles that one back to Lawson, throw on to first. And Lawson fielding his position well. Quickly, there's 2 down for Edwin Arroyo Jr. 2-1 count. The pitch. Arroyo ropes this one to Alonso, who steps on the bag, and it's 3 up, 3 down. As the Mets will have a chance to walk it off, bottom 9, still tied at 1. Nick Mears coming in for the Pittsburgh Pirates to face Britt, Alonso, and Lindor, the 4-5-6 hitters. So certainly some lethal bats there, as we'll start things off bottom 9. 1-2 from Mears. Bart catching, and this one hit to right. Shift was on, but Trek just has to go back a bit, and he makes the catch. The 1-1 game here. Joey Bart had the RBI single for the Pirates, and then it was Ronnie Mauricio in the bottom of the 7th to tie things back up with a solo shot to right. And that's how we got to a 1-1 game here. Bottom 9, 1 out for Pete Alonso. 1-0 count. This one hit hard to third. Hayes has it. It makes a strong throw to first. Ramirez gloves it 2 away. Now facing Lindor, looking for his first hit of the season. Full count, payoff pitch, shift on to the right. And Lindor rung up. Umpire says he went around, and so we'll play extras on opening day. As we'll go to the 10th inning. As Lawson will stay in for the Mets. And for the Pirates, some bullpen decisions to be made here potentially. As I'm trying not to go, 2 innings with any of our relievers so early in the year. As I'm kind of deciding what I may want to do here. May go with, there's no real good lefties though, as Bentley's better versus lefties than righties. May let Mears go 2 innings, actually. It's kind of my plan right now, but we'll see what the landscape looks like. Nick Dial leading things off, looking for that first big league hit to 2 count. And Dial looks at strike 3. The tough day at the plate for the rookie. Joey Bart as the lone RBI today. Full count. And he will draw the walk. So nice job there by Joey Bart. You consider the pinch run opportunity. Although there aren't any great pinch runners on the bench for Pirates. James Wood probably the best bet. But we're going to leave that one, I think. What do you do here? You bring James Wood in with some bit better base running ability. And it would not be the worst idea in the world. We got Sanchez and Vivas as well. You know what? I may bring Vivas in to pinch run for Joey Bart. Have a good catcher, the backup Jacob Stallings. So Vivas will come in to try to potentially stay out of the double play. Not that he's a big upgrade over Bart, but he is an upgrade. So we'll utilize the bench early in the season as Kwan will face Lawson. 1 out, 1 on. Kwan hits this one to center. Nimmo going back, calls off the left fielder. And there are 2 away. And RJ Schreck coming in, 0 for 4 today. And that one's inside and hits Schreck. And so that one doesn't feel good, but it puts him on the base paths for Ke'Bryan Hayes, 1 for 4. Trying to have a big game in his first game back from that torn labrum, which I believe happened August 5th of 2027. Caused him to miss the rest of the regular season and postseason play. And the Pirates' first postseason run in quite some time. So disappointing for him, disappointing for the fan base. Anyway, 2 outs, 2 on, 1-1 game here, top 10. 1-0 count. And Hayes, this one 2 left, and this one will get down. Vivas will score. It looks like he's going to come home, and he will get ahead of the throw. So maybe that pinch run opportunity changed things just enough as Hayes brings in the go-ahead run. Andrew Schultz warming up now quickly in the pen. And Stelfin Ramirez will try to add to it. Runners first and second. Pirates up 2-1, top 10. And Ramirez facing Lawson. 1-2 count. And this one gently hit to left. Very high in the air. And this time, Urbina makes the catch. But the Pirates take the lead. Have a chance to close this one out 2-1 going bottom 10. New catcher is Jacob Stallings in to replace the pinch run for Joey Bart. Schultz still warming, will leave Nick Mears in as he'll face Hoskins, Mauricio, who has the home run that tied the game in the bottom of the 7th, and Rivera, the catcher. And so Pirates trying to close this one out on opening day. Full count to start. Here's the pitch. And this one hit well to right. Schreck coming in, and he makes the catch for out number 1. And I'm always the worst at defensive replacements, and I'm going to do that now despite my tardiness, as Gilbert Sanchez will come in for Nick Gonzalez. We'll leave Mears in to face Mauricio. Yeah, we'll leave Mears in. Mauricio has the only run of the day for the Mets, a solo shot, bottom 7 to right. And so Mears 2-1 count, the pitch, and this one popped up. And Arroyo will call off Mears and make the catch on the pitcher's mound. And there's 2 away, as Rivera will be pinch hit for. No surprise there, Gage Harrelson coming in. One of the outfielders, a young prospect who certainly looks good in what will be his first at bat of the season. 65 starts last year for the Mets, and he had 259 with 6 home runs, but a solid start for him. So this one certainly makes a lot of sense. All right, so it's Nick Mears against Harrelson. Bottom 10, 2 outs, bases empty, Mets down to their last out. 0-1 count. This one's dribbled 2 seconds. Sanchez makes the throw. Ramirez grabs it, and the Pirates win on opening day 2-1. And you can raise the Jolly Roger as the Pirates start the year off 1-0, beating the Mets 2-1 in the 2028 opening day. Final score here: Pirates 2 runs, 7 hits, 1 error. Mets 1 run, 4 hits, and 1 error. Both runs in regulation coming in the 7th inning, and then it was the Ke'Bryan Hayes single that brought home Vivas in the top of the 10th that won it for Pittsburgh. Quick look at the box score, and again, you have to feel so good for Ke'Bryan Hayes. Again, that first game back after that just disappointing labrum injury, sliding into a base last year. So good for him. 2 for 5 with an RBI in his first game back. Edwin Arroyo also 2 hits as a shortstop third base combination, working pretty well. No extra base hits for this team in this game. All singles, but made it work overall. Pretty quiet game, pretty defensive and pitching based sort of game. For the Mets, just 4 hits, and that was from Turner, Britt, Alonso, and Riccio, who had the home run like we talked about earlier. Both pitchers, both starting pitchers, brilliant in this one, Cruz and Lopez. So, Lopez better numbers, better game scores slightly overall, but both I thought were fantastic. And as advertised, Christopher Cruz, the player of the game. All right, so that is opening day. A good win, and it appears Central did a lot of winning here with the Cubs, Cardinals, and Pirates taking the opening day victories. The Brewers and Reds losing, which is kind of what you would expect, but it's a long season, so happy to get the win, but certainly a long ways to go. So we'll come back later in the year, see where the Pirates are at, and talk to you guys soon. So appreciate you guys watching. If you like this video and subscribe to the channel, we'll certainly appreciate that. And again,